For years, Trae Young embraced the role of New York's biggest basketball villain, but one recent moment completely changed the conversation. During an appearance in New York, he tried to take a shot at Jalen Brunson by ripping up a Knicks jersey, yet the stunt didn't go the way he expected. Instead of creating an unforgettable villain moment, the jersey refused to tear, leaving Trae Young struggling on stage in front of a massive crowd and millions watching the clip afterward. The discussion has only grown louder since then, with basketball figures like Isaiah Thomas and Shaquille O'Neal weighing in on where they believe Trae Young's career currently stands. The timing made the moment even more awkward because New York was still celebrating its championship run, with Jalen Brunson being embraced as a franchise icon and honored with murals throughout Manhattan. Even so, Trae Young arrived at the Javits Center looking ready to play the heel once again. Before taking the stage, he shared Instagram stories featuring Rey Mysterio's entrance music, clearly leaning into the villain persona he believed the crowd expected. As soon as he appeared, the audience showered him with boos, and he seemed to enjoy the reaction before reaching into his bag and pulling out a Brunson jersey. That's when everything unraveled. He attempted to rip the jersey down the middle for dramatic effect, but it wouldn't tear, turning what was supposed to be a statement into an awkward moment. While the broadcast commentary suggested he was destroying the jersey, the video instead showed Trae Young spending several seconds unsuccessfully trying to rip a standard Nike jersey, and the failed stunt quickly became the real story.
He's ripping it asunder.
Here's the problem.
Can't get through it.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
Things only got more awkward from there. As Trae Young kept trying to rip the jersey, he appeared to lose his footing, his face visibly turned red, and the moment quickly shifted from a planned stunt to an uncomfortable scene in front of a crowd that was already booing him. Eventually, he gave up, tossed the undamaged jersey into the audience, flashed a small heart gesture, and walked off the stage as many people in the arena reacted with laughter. The clip spread across social media almost immediately, and fans on Twitter wasted no time roasting the entire sequence. A lot of the discussion centered on the idea that Trae Young's reputation as New York's basketball villain has largely been built around that one playoff series against the Knicks, when Atlanta eliminated a team led by Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle. Many posts joked that the only thing he actually managed to tear was his own reputation from that moment, while others mocked the failed stunt with insults, including one user who simply called him a dork. The awkward moment didn't end when Trae Young left the stage. Afterward, he tried to downplay the situation by posting that he was only trolling and that he was genuinely happy for his friends on the Knicks, but plenty of fans weren't convinced by that explanation. The criticism only grew louder because Jalen Brunson had just finished leading New York to a championship, while Trae Young had been traded during the season, appeared in 15 games for the Wizards, and still hadn't won an NBA title. That contrast became a major talking point as the clip continued spreading online. Of course, rivalries and trash talk have always been part of basketball, but many people argue there's a difference between talking and backing it up. Larry Bird is often brought up as one of the greatest trash talkers the game has ever seen because he consistently let his play do the talking after making bold statements. The comparison being made is that Trae Young tried to take a shot at Brunson and the Knicks, but the failed jersey stunt ended up overshadowing the message he was trying to send. According to the story, Larry Bird wasn't impressed after seeing the clip and reportedly said he never needed to tear up another player's jersey to prove he was better, arguing that if you're forcing a reaction instead of earning one on the court, you've already lost. That mindset reflects the reputation Bird built throughout his career, with Michael Jordan famously calling him one of the greatest trash talkers ever because his confidence was always backed by his performance. One of the classic examples came during the 1986 three-point contest, when Bird reportedly walked into the locker room, asked Craig Hodges, Dale Ellis, and Trent Tucker who was finishing second, then went out and won the event without even taking off his warm-up jacket. That's the kind of confidence many people believe can't be manufactured, and it's why Bird's approach continues to be compared with moments like this. It's also worth remembering that Larry Bird spent years winning big games at Madison Square Garden, giving him first-hand experience with the pressure and intensity that come with playing in New York. Larry Bird never built his reputation on gimmicks because every time he talked, he backed it up once the game tipped off. There are legendary stories of Bird scoring 35 points with 10 rebounds while jowing at Knicks coach Hubie Brown, torching Dennis Rodman for 4 straight baskets before telling Chuck Daly to put someone else on him, and even calling out the exact play he was about to run against the Mavericks before drilling the shot anyway.
That's the contrast being made here, because Bird's trash talk always came with results, while Trae Young's fan event ended with him struggling to rip a jersey. Instead of making a statement, the failed stunt became the moment everyone remembered. And if you thought Bird's reaction was tough, the next Hall of Famer reportedly took it even further. Kevin Garnett, known as one of the NBA's fiercest competitors, is said to have seen the clip and couldn't believe an NBA player was battling with a jersey instead of making his statement on the court. According to the account, Garnett argued that if you're going to disrespect another player's jersey, you better be ready to back it up during actual games, not at a fan event. That criticism carries extra weight because KG built his entire career on relentless intensity, doing his talking in live competition rather than through staged moments. He's the same player known for constantly getting into opponents' heads, with stories even claiming Steven Adams once pretended not to understand English just to avoid engaging with him. Garnett also became known for pushing the limits with his trash talk, including controversial comments directed at Charlie Villanueva and remarks about Lala Anthony that reportedly left Carmelo Anthony waiting outside the Celtics team bus after the game, looking to confront him. The point being made isn't that players shouldn't talk trash, it's that if you're going to do it, your performance has to make the message believable. Kevin Garnett's career showed he was never afraid to cross the line, with incidents ranging from grabbing Henry Bill Walker by the throat to delivering some of the most controversial trash talk the league has ever heard. So the point KG is making isn't that players should avoid talking trash or challenging their rivals. His argument is that if you're going to make a statement, don't embarrass yourself in the process, and make sure your game can support the message. But the story got even more ironic when Paul Pierce joined the conversation. During an ESPN appearance with Stephen A. Smith, the Celtics legend saw the viral clip and joked that he had already stomped on a Jalen Brunson jersey back in 2024, adding that Brunson's jersey looked tougher than Trae Young after what everyone had just watched. When even a Hall of Famer who has spent years taking shots at the Knicks can't defend your stunt, that's when you know the moment didn't land the way you intended. What makes it even funnier is that Pierce has his own history with Jalen Brunson and New York. After Indiana eliminated the Knicks in the 2024 playoffs, Pierce celebrated by stomping on a Jalen Brunson jersey and telling Knicks fans to move on. Then, in April 2026 on the No Fouls Given podcast, he doubled down by saying people would see Jesus walking down Crenshaw before the Knicks ever won an NBA championship.
We're going to see Jesus walk down Crenshaw. Like, come on, the Knicks aren't winning nothing, bro.
The fallout from that jersey moment didn't stop with fans clowning Trae Young, because even people who had defended him before started changing their tune. Paul Pierce ended up apologizing after Jalen Brunson led New York to the championship on June 14, 2026, and that only made Trae's failed attempt to recreate the moment look even worse. Pierce at least managed to stomp on a Brunson jersey back in 2024, while Trae couldn't even tear one apart, making the comparison impossible to ignore. Things got even more interesting when Gilbert Arenas, who had regularly backed Trae in the past, admitted on his show that the stunt was a bad look, saying Brunson didn't even have to respond. That reaction carried extra weight because Gilbert knows firsthand how quickly a player's reputation can unravel after seeing his own career change dramatically following the 2010 locker room gun incident. His point was simple. Instead of chasing attention with publicity stunts, the focus should be on producing on the court. The criticism kept growing when Charles Barkley weighed in, arguing that it made little sense for Trae to pick a fight with New York while Jalen Brunson was leading the Knicks and Trae was now with the Washington Wizards. Barkley essentially questioned the timing, suggesting winning games should come before trying to reignite an old rivalry. The contrast became the biggest talking point, with Brunson on top of New York after a championship run, while Trae was trying to revive a rivalry from the bottom of the standings despite signing a $212 million contract after appearing in just 15 games the previous season. What happened after that only added more fuel to the conversation because the viral moment reportedly even drew reactions from some of the biggest names in basketball.
According to the narration, Scottie Pippen looked at the clip and used it as an example of what he believes is missing from Trae Young's game, arguing that respect is earned through what happens on the court, not through attention-grabbing moments. The comparison carried extra weight because Pippen spent years fighting to be recognized alongside Michael Jordan, despite helping the Chicago Bulls win 6 championships while playing on a team-friendly contract. The narrator contrasts that with Trae, claiming Pippen built a championship resume before receiving major financial rewards, while Trae has landed massive contracts without collecting an NBA title. The discussion then shifts to Isaiah Thomas, another legendary Eastern Conference rival, who is presented as someone qualified to speak on what it really means to embrace the villain role. According to the story, Thomas argued that trying to create viral moments is no substitute for proving yourself in actual competition, adding that players from his era earn their reputations through physical play and results. That criticism is especially significant because Thomas led the Detroit Pistons' Bad Boys teams despite standing around the same height as Trae, winning back-to-back championships and a Finals MVP through relentless play. The narrator closes by pointing to Thomas's own experience, noting his decision to walk off the floor without shaking hands after the 1991 playoff loss to the Bulls became one of the defining moments of his career, and in his view contributed to the lasting damage to his reputation, including missing out on the Dream Team.
Looking back in terms of what has happened, had I had a chance to do it all over again, we should have took the higher road.
Watching Trae Young suit up for just 15 games with the Washington Wizards, struggle with that viral jersey moment, and then explain it away as trolling, only added more criticism to the story. The narrator's point is that the NBA's most respected villains earned that reputation through what they did between the lines, not through publicity stunts or social media moments. According to the narration, the jokes escalated when Shaquille O'Neal reportedly turned the incident into comedy on Inside the NBA, arguing that if you're going to play the role of a tough guy in New York, your actions have to match the image. The story then circles back to Draymond Green, whose earlier warning is presented as looking more accurate in hindsight. Back in January 2023, during his conversation with Taylor Rooks on Bleacher Report, Draymond argued that Trae was forcing himself into the league's villain role instead of letting that identity develop naturally. The narrator closes this section by suggesting that Draymond believed being viewed as the NBA's villain isn't something players should chase because it comes with constant scrutiny and has to be earned through performances on the court, rather than moments designed to grab attention.
And I personally think Trae has in his mind he's taken on this villain role, and he's bought into it and he has dove headfirst in.
After Draymond Green first questioned the direction Trae Young was taking, Trae responded on Instagram saying he respectfully disagreed with Draymond's assessment of his situation. The narrator argues that looking back a few years later, the viral jersey incident only made Draymond's warning seem more relevant, especially considering Draymond has 4 NBA championships supporting his perspective. It also points out that while Draymond has had plenty of controversial moments, from the 2016 final suspension to the altercation with Jordan Poole and his 2024 suspension, those incidents all happened during actual NBA competition while he was trying to win games. The script then raises the question of whether Trae would have been better off tuning out the outside noise and focusing solely on basketball instead of embracing a public villain image, even wondering if that could have changed the path that eventually led him from the Atlanta Hawks to the Washington Wizards. The conversation then shifts to Reggie Miller, making his reaction especially noteworthy because he once praised Trae in 2021 as someone who had the mentality to embrace the pressure of playing inside Madison Square Garden. According to the narration, Reggie believed becoming a true villain isn't something you manufacture at promotional events. It happens naturally when you consistently deliver in the biggest moments. His message was that memorable rivalries are built by clutch performances, not by attention-grabbing stunts, and that winning is what ultimately gives those moments meaning. The narrator wraps up by saying the failed jersey moment has sparked widespread criticism and leaves fans wondering whether Trae can eventually rebuild his reputation through his play, or if only sustained success on the court will change the conversation around his legacy.